Hello folks, Deacon Leaks here, and I was just thinking a little bit about belief and how it affects the things that we do and what happens to us in our life. Years ago I wrote a book called Mindset, and I had a bunch of thoughts about how important mindset was, and then it kind of became like cliche and everybody was talking about mindset. So I sort of backed up a little bit on that and went to some different subjects and some things that were a little bit fresh. And one of the things that just sort of hit me as I was going down the way here is that even our mindset has little value if we don't first begin with our belief system and our belief of what is possible and what we could have, what we could obtain. And I think this is actually how people lose the game before they start the game, is they don't have the capacity to believe that the things that they want or the things that they're trying to have happen can actually happen. It's interesting to note that we live in a world where your belief is so easily manipulated by the things that are around you. Like, you can easily be swayed to believe what certain influencers and people tell you based on your willingness to fall into their particular mindset. So whatever their mindset is, if it somehow jives with your own, you'll believe what they say, even if what they say is total, malarkey, for lack of a more intelligent term. But our world has been completely whitewashed in belief about, a particular situation that comes to people's health. And that's really the whole key to it. Like, if you believe you're going to be sick, you'll be sick. If you believe that you'll be healthy, you'll be healthy. I used to say, when I was a little bit more dogmatic in my religion, that the most important thing is belief. It's the easiest thing to do is to believe in something, but it's the most difficult thing in action. Like, because you can say, I believe something, but that has very little value until you actually prove that belief through living it out. Like, I can live out the belief, or I can just say I believe something, And I try very hard myself to live out my beliefs. And one of the beliefs that I have is that if I can conceive it, I can achieve it. And obviously that came from a real old book, a real old author, one that we probably all read, and it's been sort of played out again like that same thing in this industry where, people just, a lot of times regurgitate the same message. And the fact is, the nugget of truth within that statement is where your belief exists. Like, do you actually believe that you are impervious to the things that people find detrimental in their life? Will those torpedoes miss you? Or do you believe that those things are part of your existence and that you are more as likely as anyone else to be invaded by them? And the fact of the matter is, however you've programmed yourself to receive your life as it's gone about you is going to continually to program it in that same fashion, if that makes any sense. Like, so if a person believes that their parents were impoverished and they had to work really hard for every single dollar, and they basically, even no matter how hard they worked, they couldn't seem to get ahead of the game. If a person was instilled that at a young age and believed that from a young age, that's hard to overcome in a lot of ways. And you see that play out in their own life when they make an attempt at something, because the belief is deeply programmed and it continually recycles and regenerates itself as a truth within their life. And breaking away from that really takes some significant emotional event. And if you know anything about psychology, you understand that that's not just a couple of words I put together. A significant emotional event is what alters somebody's course in their life. That says, I was heading down a road in one direction, and then bam, something happened, and I had to really change the way I thought about my life and think about what was happening, because this made me change. It made me look at something differently. And I've had a few of those times in my life where that's happened, and I don't wish it on anybody, but it's extremely valuable if it is utilized in the right direction to program yourself in a new mode. Now, I've learned in recent years that you can kind of hack that mode, and you can go into a situation where we can actually alter the program beliefs that a person has through certain techniques and certain things that we do. And it's really extremely interesting to see how once you start to alter those beliefs, your life actually can begin to change like that. I remember a particular time where, I was in a situation that was probably unlike anybody else out in the internet. Well, not anybody, but the people that would be listening to me anyhow. And emotionally, I was completely devastated about what was going on. And then I decided to sort of shift my own reality a little bit. Now, it wasn't just me. There were things going on that sort of led me in that direction and led me to take certain steps to think about things a little bit differently. And maybe I'll get into more details sometime, but this really isn't the right place. But because of that, what I'm getting at, because of that, when the changes that I desired, when I realized where my belief was false, and the changes began to, or the mental changes began, the actual physical changes in my life happened really quickly, and like most of them weren't things that I could control. Like the only part I could control was the way I thought about it, and yet the world itself seemed to bend its will for me to allow that to occur. And if you know anything about the law of attraction, then maybe that's what you hear me saying. But again, there's another played out concept, because it's not just about this idea of like, oh, okay, well, I think about something and that's what's going to happen and that's the way it is. No, it's actually a lot deeper than that. And that's why I like to talk a lot about vibrations and frequencies and the way we're actually connecting to the world around us. We're sort of plugged into it. Like we're actually plugging into the universe in a way that is beneficial to us. And, again, I want to reiterate that concept about people being in a hypnotic state. The hypnotic state is good and bad. It's not just bad. It's not just good. The hypnotic state can turn your world upside down and completely ruin you, or it can actually change your life into a way, the direction that you actually wanted to go in, right? And the key to the hypnotic state, it isn't like you're forced to be in that state. It's a choosing, like you've totally chosen to be hypnotized in whichever way that you are. You just don't know it. Like that's the key. That's so weird about it. You don't know it until you do. And then when you do, the world changes. And you can live a life that is just, different. Hey, thanks for paying attention to me. I hope that you can get something out of the words that I say, because, they're not just for me, but they are for me too. Thank you. Have a good one.